it a little bit, but mostly because I want my kids and grandkids to be able to stay in Wyoming and have the same opportunities that we have, and hopefully better opportunities. So that's why I'm here.
Mr. Portner?
I would like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this on today or tonight. Every little bit of information that you can spoon feed the voters to make the right decisions, responsible votes is a positive in my opinion. My name is Bill Fortner. I've been in the fossil fuel industry most all my life, about 47 years. I'm for fossil fuels. I'm not for nuclear or data centers. I'll fight strong against those. I raised two kids. I'm a fifth generation Campbell County native. This is home to me. I'm not real pleased with what's happening behind the doors or behind the scenes. I'd like to be at the table when these conversations take place in Cheyenne. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Now for the first question. You have up to 1 minute for each answer. Mr. Portner, if elected, how would you balance party politics with the needs and wishes of your local constituents?
Well, I would use the Constitution to do that. Every decision I make is going to be done with the Constitution. Constitution basically lays out the foundation for America. It started on day 1, 1787. Laid out 7 articles. That's our roadmap to success in America. I follow that to the T. Thank you.
Ms. Bowler, if elected, how would you balance party politics and the needs and wishes of your local constituents?
Well, I think for the most part, that's where I'm going to get my input will be from the constituents. In visiting with them and especially just the last few weeks or so, a lot of the party politics are not what I'm hearing are important to the voters that I'm visiting with. So those are the people that we represent, and that's what I'll do.
Ms. Bowler, the governor appoints the 12-member board of trustees for the University of Wyoming with the advice and consent from the state senate. Do you think it is the job of our state legislators to bypass the trustees and mandate changes in curriculum and services?
I'm not really familiar with that, but I will say that I think there's probably room for both. I don't know necessarily bypass, but I think when you're seeing things that you're not happy with your university that is constitutional and has to be funded, I think that maybe it's okay to step in and say something about it. Changing it completely, no. But I think there needs to be room for discussion on both sides.
Mr. Portner, the governor appoints the 12-member board of trustees for the University of Wyoming with the advice and consent from the state senate. Do you think it is the job of our state legislators to bypass the trustees and mandate changes in curriculum and services?
I believe the governor has too much power. I believe the governor, he needs reined in on his power. I think most of his powers need to be turned over to bipartisan committees in the Senate and the House. We're seeing water infrastructure and a lot of other things destroyed because of this, DQC and DEQ. They're making laws. He's appointing people that's not elected, basically. The people that run these boards, they should be appointed by the people, not by the government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Portner, what do you see as the most critical need for health care throughout Wyoming, and how can it be fixed?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been asked that by a lot of people in a lot of different polls. This health care debacle started in 1965. In 1913, we just ratcheted it back a little bit. In 1913, FDR, he started to take the dollar off the gold. He moved it away. He didn't remove it, but he moved it away. So That right there started the decline, or inflation, which was the decline in the dollar. Today, we're at 97% decline in the dollar, 3% worth value. That's a driver for all the economic problems we have today. I can't raise a red flag and stop anything in Cheyenne at my level. Thank you.
Ms. Bowler, what do you see as the most critical need for healthcare throughout Wyoming, and how can it be fixed?
I don't know if any of us know how it can be fixed, but maybe a few of us have some ideas. I've been a nurse for 20 years, and some of the things that I'm seeing right now is there's not enough providers. And just the affordability for patients. So you don't have enough providers. This cost of services are more than a lot of people can afford, and a lot of people aren't carrying insurance because they can't afford the insurance. So to be able to work on that, I think that's something as a legislator, I have some ideas. Maybe we can work across state lines, which I know right now is not possible, but maybe that's something that we need to look at and work with other states that have low populations like we do, so that we can maybe have an expanded insurance pool.
Ms. Bowler, question 4. Successful legislation often requires compromise. How will you work collaboratively to get results for the citizens of your district?
Well, I've had to do that in the past. I got on the cemetery board when it was pretty much a mess. I mean, a cemetery board that's in the news every night is really kind of ridiculous. And I remember my husband said, "Why do you want to get into this?" And I remember thinking, well, if I can make it better, then that's what I want to do. And the only way you can make things better is to work with people collaboratively. And you're not the only guy that's got an idea, and to realize that everybody's coming to the table, hopefully with the goal of making things better. So that's how I would tackle this the same way. Just try to work with people and come up with the best ideas for Wyoming.
Mr. Portner, successful legislation often requires compromise. How will you work collaboratively to get results for the citizens of your district?
I seen too much compromising down there. Like I said before, the rule of law, the supreme law of the land is the Constitution. I don't see any way to compromise on that. I don't see going down and meeting somebody halfway on things that's wrong. If something's not right that you're going to vote on, or you're going to put a debt on the people at home in my district, I have to vote no on it. When I was down there, I had one of the second to none best voting record of freshman legislature, and I'll continue that. I'm conservative. I vote less government, less taxes. Thank you.
Mr. Portner, at the end of your term, what specific accomplishments or outcomes would tell voters that you were an effective Wyoming State House representative?
What do I look at as effective outcome? Is by passing bills that's constitutional and everything that's not. I would look at effective outcome would be turning away any bills that are not constitutional, so we could pass and implement through legislature ourselves instead of a bipartisan committee, and put them out to the public the way they was passed.
Ms. Bowler, at the end of your term, what specific accomplishments or outcomes would tell voters that you were an effective Wyoming State House representative?
Well, I hope that anything that I either bring there or pass is going to be positive for Wyoming. And I've actually got to work on a bill several years ago that I brought forward, and Representative Barlow actually brought it forward for me, but I wrote it. It was a bill to make special districts for nursing homes and senior care. And nobody uses that bill, but it's actually something that is on the books that we can use. And so I look at things like that. I'm going to look at things that I feel like are going to help this district and the state of Wyoming.
Thank you, candidates. You now have up to 1 minute for closing remarks. Let's start with Ms. Bowler.
Oh dear. I was hoping I'd have a second answer. Well, first of all, I need to say thank you to the League of Women Voters for this, because I agree with Bill. It's good to have opportunities where people can come and listen and see what we think. and put us on the spot a little bit. So, I guess the thing that I want people to remember, as going out from here is, I've always been an advocate. That's what I do. I've been a nurse for 20 years and advocate for our patients. That's our main job. And I think going into the legislature, that will be exactly what I'll do, is advocate for our voters.
Mr. Portner.
Thanks again for sponsoring this tonight. Again, my name is Bill Fortner. I've had the legislative experience. I had in 21, 22. I've been there, done that, stood on the floor alone, been pretty vocal when the time came. Traveled to Cheyenne and after a double back operation, laid on my back, was trolleyed down there in the back of a van. Was wheelchaired to the top of the floor, gave my vote, and was wheeled back down and went back, put back in the van and hauled home. I will go to that extent every day if I have to, as long as I serve the people of House District 52. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. We will now move to a candidate running for Wyoming State House District 53, Mr. Greg Shear, as Mr. Knapp had to cancel at the last minute. First, we would like to start with an introductory statement. You have up to 1 minute.
I'm running to represent the voters of Wyoming House District 53. My goal is to restore and strengthen the trust that must exist between the voters and their representatives in Cheyenne.